Okay, so just gonna make a short video to explain how this build works to Beans. You've probably seen this before, but let's just go over the stats and everything I've got on here. So we'll start with how I've got my weapons set up. This is my main weapon. It has this R1 chain that trades most lighter weapon, or all light weapons. And it has this R2. This is just a mix-up. It will also trade stuff. You know, it's got quite a bit of hyper armor, but also it's just got a different timing. And like, just recently I had someone sort of run to the side on me, just in my last invasion actually, when I was doing my R1, and so I flicked them with that and killed them. Made them bleed. Now, the main thing on all of my high-level builds is this. Unseen Form, and Assassin's Gambit, or rather, Assassin's Gambit and Unseen Form. There's a wee bit of damage to your HP, but not that you'd notice. And that is the anti-lock tech that allows me to actually win when you've got Bolter, Grand Sax, Falling Star Beast, or Wizards doing Stars of Ruin. You know, that's just SOP for a gang squad, is to have all of that stuff. And not even just people who are running a gang squad, just co-opers at this level are all gonkers. They all have all that stuff. If they weren't any good at gonking, they would have had to stop playing co-op by this point, because they'd just get shit on by all the reds. So yeah, they've all got that stuff. So you shut it down for 30 seconds. Just don't lose track of that 30 seconds in your head. Get in, kill someone, get back out again. If you don't kill someone, just get back out again anyway if you can. If they then stick to you like glue, give up on getting the buff back and just focus on getting them off you. So that is like the main strat in dealing with them that I use. Like, try and kill the wizard first, or just whoever looks the least tanky. Just try and take them out. Appearances can be deceiving at this level. Holy crap, some people are so tanky and they're wearing no armor. I have no idea how. Anyway, like, this is your Asher War, the main Asher War for this build. This will hyper armor basically everything except a Colossal. Or the Blasphemous Blade. Do not, I repeat, do not trade the Blasphemous Blade. Yeah. So your main burst damage is actually trading with this. You're not trying to poison them. Like, you don't. That'll happen anyway. Don't bother actually trying to poison people. What you're trying to do is land direct hit with this Asher War, because what it does is a lot of damage, and this is a blood weapon. So it does a lot of bleed build up as well. So if you've hit them once or twice before you do that, like you run up and bang, and then you like run away, and then they're coming at you and you bam and trade with their attack, just be sure you're full health before you do it. That will burst them down most of the time, or at least get them panic running, and then like you got to run after them and roll catch them with the axe to finish them, and then you've got to kill. You know, at that point, run away, find somewhere where there's cover from projectiles, and do this again. So that's like the main bread and butter of this build, is just doing that. Sometimes you just need a bigger bonk. This has the exact same thing, Poisonous Mist, but it hits harder, it swings wider, it hyper armors more shit. It is really, really good in a small environment like a cave. If you're in a big open space like this against a team, this probably isn't the weapon unless they're quite bad. Like, you really would prefer swinging this bad boy around in like a little cave where it's harder for them to dodge. And of course this will, if you're at full health and their damage isn't too terrifying, this you can trade the whole team with that, bam. So I have this as well. This is kind of exactly the same, just another moveset again. Also poisonous mist, and this is a little bit lighter, so the reason that I have it so near to hand is that if I want to swap in my great bow, I can have a weapon to soft swap to. When they inevitably get the drop on me, I can swap very quickly, go from doing this to to doing that. So it's actually 2 swaps away. Not ideal, but I need that dagger there. Yeah, so Beans, you're just messaging me now. Actually, I'll message you back once I finish recording. That's that. That's why that's there. It lets me have another thing at the same time as it, like this. I put that in the wrong place. Shields go there. So yeah, I can have this if things get really desperate. I can swap to that. And just while I'm talking about that, I swap to that, and then I'd also swap to that. Yeah, so that's how I'd do that. Like if I can make a break in contact, I've got this. And so I'd do that, and then I'd go into my inventory, I'd use one of these, and then I'd drop down one of these, a Frenzy Flame Stone. Now, I could drop a Warming Stone as well to heal fast, but then if they then come up on me, that will give them a little bit of healing too. So these 2 only heal me, unless they have Madness Ice. Yeah. So, you want Madness Eyes. I'll just go through the rest of the weapons. This is like for corner camping. It's also for if they're like underneath you or above you. It goes through walls and floors. It can also be a very risky trade, where you would actually swap. Oh, what did I do here? No. I'm talking. Okay, that's why I'm screwing this up. So you would swap your dagger, and then you get rid of that, and then you would endure into that, like in the middle of them. Really risky. Like I've killed whole teams doing that, but I've also died like a dog doing that. Like, it's not a great strat against a team, but it can, when all else fails. Like, just remember that you can pull that out. Like if you're stuck in a wee space with some people and it's just not going your way, that's a good Hail Mary, where you can just throw that out there and you'll either die or you'll win. This is a ledging tool, so what you do is, if someone's standing up above you, you want to bring them down to you, you can do it with the ash. Or if you say I wanted to send people off this cliff here, it'll be a matter of and then you turn while you do it, and then that sends them that way. So yeah, you turn in the direction while you're casting it that you want them to go, and if it catches them, it'll send them flying that way. And of course it does have the follow-up, which hits like an absolute truck. So that's a good one. We'll get into tallies in a minute. So the other thing I have on here, this is quick step. I'm actually going to swap quick step onto a real weapon, not just a soft swap dagger, but just know that it's good to have quick step. Anything on this build, by the way, that I don't need a specific Ash of War has Poisonous Mist. So this is a chase down. It does running R1s. If they turn on you, you can trade with that. It's got good damage on a strength arc build, kinda. 685's not bad. Good AR rather, you know what I mean. And you know, you can also swap in Spear Talisman, but we'll talk more about talismans. Let's just keep going through the weapons. Is that all of them? I mean, the elephant in the room, yeah, I've got dual Nagis. I personally believe you should have them. I don't think you should like invade with them in your hands unless you know that you're invading a gank. These are for like chasing down cowards. They're not actually great against a group. Therefore, either like if you've got someone who is really passive because they've got blues on, or they're trying to get their phantoms back, and you've just fought a hell of a battle getting rid of their allies. Now they're running, and you know why they're running. They're running to get their friends back who you barely managed to kill. You pull the Nagis, and you do running L1s, and yeah, it hits a lot harder and a lot easier than the halberd. It's just you only use these on people where you don't care if they block you, because these are very bad manners. But look, people aren't going to show good manners to you as an invader, so don't get too hung up on that. You've got this. Now, this would be more optimal as an iron greatsword. I chose this sword because I like it. I just liked having a couple of different weapons on the build. There's a shield cracker. It's a blood affinity gargoyle's greatsword. It's got piercing fang, which goes through a shield. I don't really think I need to say too much about that. You can break a lot of medium shields, or most medium shields, with a running R2. Perhaps not as easily at level 200 as lower levels, though. So yeah, you've got that. And you also, because of the bleed, you're doing bleed build up through their shield. So if someone's really giving you a problem by turtling, you can pull that out. And of course, you can also swap in spear and shard, so that's going to put quite a bit of extra sauce on your piercing fang. I'm going to have to pop a starlight shard if I'm going to keep demoing stuff. Is that all my weapons? No, this has Raptor of the Mists on it. So Raptor of the Mists is for roller dungeons, you know, like the hero graves with the big roller guys. Your Raptor of the Mists, you can go through them without taking any damage if you time it right before they hit you. It's pretty forgiving, the timing is actually quite easy. Yeah, so doing that is quite good. It kind of hard counters dual Nagis. Oh no, it's good. It doesn't hard counter them, but I couldn't kill someone who kept doing this with my Nagis. I had to swap to my Poisonous Mist. Anyway, I keep this one swap away from my main weapon. Say someone is standing, like I don't want to go in there because there's heaps of PvE. But like, okay, say someone is in there and like, you know that they've got like friends in there with them and they're standing there looking at you in the middle of their like obvious bait is obvious. So like you lock on and you hold like your L2 and you push your R1 and you like get them with the golem arrows. That will make them move at the very least. if they're like dragon breath spamming, say they're standing in there and you go and they're like real cocky and they'll just like rotten breath, you run away because dragon breath will kill you at this level. But like keep lock on, bait it, and then like shoot them while they're in the rotten breath animation, and you'll probably kill them because they'll eat the whole thing. Yeah. And I mean, you can also shoot people with this. Don't bother with any arrow type other than golem arrows. They're just pretty useless. Just use golem arrows. Yeah, you're on PC, you can figure that out. This is for where you know you're safe. Like, say you're up here and they're like down there. So they can't, you know they can't sneak up behind you because this thing has a really long reload animation. It's for where they're outside of your lock-on range, you can't get them with the rain of arrows. And it actually does really good damage, the jar cannon. So you rain down hell on them. And if they're on this little platform, yeah, you just shoot at them. You got lightning ones too. I'll make one of them come out. Yeah, so you got lightning ones too. Apparently they're better, I don't know. That's what people say. I tend to use the explosive ones, I don't know. Don't know if I'm right for that. And yeah, that's all the actual weapons. But we'll go down to shields now. I have a parry shield. I wouldn't put it in that hand. I keep them along the bottom like this because I can swap down like that and then to whatever shield I need for whatever reason. So I have a parry shield, I never really use it, but it's there. Occasionally you'll get someone who's actually shield poking. So this golden parry is quite good for that. So you can like golden parry them, and then the Executioner's Great Axe actually has 1.15 crit. And being a blood weapon, hitting them twice with that high crit does a ton of damage. And then of course it also is going to bleed them from the 2 hits from the riposte. So that is probably going to kill them if you actually manage to riposte someone. Spiral Horn with no skill. This is for status resistance. That you, if you have time, you can swap that in. We'll talk more about status in a second once I finish doing the armaments. This would be the last thing I'd do, swapping this in for status though. Like, there's other quicker things that I can do that are just as effective and don't put another armament in my setup that will mess with my equip load and the complexity of everything. This, I already showed you this, I think, for healing, when you get a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, I did show you this. Alright. And of course, Icon Shield, you probably know about this one, for when it gets really dire, you can cockroach with this, so not with that, you have to go to that. Yep. So we've covered a bunch of that. And the Albinauric staff is just a staff. I like how it looks. It's light, so any staff will work on this build. But I chose the Albinauric staff so it will have some scaling, so I can get a Swift Glintstone Shard as a finisher that I never remember I have. But it's a good one, if I remembered that. I've shown you the Assassin's Gambit, another way to flush a rat from a hole, Nightmane's Mist. You can do that. You can also Moog Spear through the wall if you've got FP, which I currently don't. Yeah. So that's weapons. Let's get into consumables. So obviously golem arrows, ballista bolts, these, don't worry about these. I would never fire one of these on purpose. It's all about the golem arrows. I have raw meat dumplings here. I'm running to, I'll just rest up and get everything freshened. I'm running 12 and 2, which is 6 and 1, and then that gives me 3 extra heals, and of course these poison me, so that procs my mushroom crown and, let's put it back, my kindred of rot's exaltation, and that gives me about 30% more damage for 20 seconds, so that's pretty good. Go from healing to then turn on them and smash, 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 and at some point after that, now I would leave blood boluses in by default. At some point after that, you can go to here and then swap to your boluses. Like, clear all the useless shit out of your inventory so you only have what you actually use. My default being here would be this. I've been doing invasions, so that's why things aren't quite at default. So my default would be like this and this. So my main body buff I put on is the unseen form, but if I've got, say it's not wizards, it's like a dude with bleed, power stance, curve swords, well, actually taking away his lock on won't do much to him. So what you want to do instead is, the very first thing you do would be eat this dappled cured white meat, because that's for all the statuses, and it actually does the same. I didn't used to know this. It does the same amount of protection as the specialized cured white meat. And then you want to swap in this, and then you want to eat a blood bolus to get rid of your build up that you've given yourself, and now you've got a longer bar, and you can go in and start trading the bleed build with superior damage and bleed build up of your own. So that's how you shit on other bleed builds. And of course you can swap these to your other boluses as needed. Don't need to explain that. I have 2 other body buffs here. This is the main one I use, the anti-status, because the majority of the time I'm going to be using the unseen form. But there are times where I might, just for fun, like after I've killed the phantoms, want to 1v1 someone without using too much cheese, and then I'll eat my exalted flesh. Just give myself a nice damage buff. Another thing you can, I mean, that's a good buff also if you're just fighting someone who's using non-physical damage, like a melee build. If they're using physical damage, you're probably better off using the boiled crab. So that's an option if you're fighting, say, a Gugs user or something, and you're wanting to, you're wanting to get hit less hard. Yeah, eat that. But like, yeah, having this close to hand is more important, so leave that in by default. Throwables, this is an albinuric pot, so a lot of the time you get someone low, but you can't confirm the kill. It's really annoying. So you throw these at them either before you get them low or when you think they're going to drink their flask. You get a small amount of time where they can't heal, so that you can prioritize trying to kill that person in that time. It'll oftentimes work out. Another time to bring those out is when you can just spam. Honestly, if you've got breathing room, and you've got nothing else to do, like you're not putting this, wrong dagger, you're not putting this back on, which you should always be trying to do, but like, you maybe just have enough time to like throw a pot to punish an AoE or something. It's just good to have that effect on them as much as you can. Rot pots are good for evasive little shits. If for some reason you can't even catch them with the nuggies, you can oftentimes rot them by throwing free aimed rot pots. And then that pressures them to where, like, if you're chasing them with the nuggies, at some point they're going to have to stop to heal, stop to cure the rot, or they don't and then they just die. Yeah, so there's the rot pots. Sleep pots. Sleep pots are one that I don't actually use that much, but it's good to have them. They can be to like get someone off your tail, like you can, why do I keep doing that? You can like biff one into the ground. I'm not very good at this. You can like biff one into the ground. I don't know, I've had people do that to me, to be honest. I haven't done it myself. If you get good at it, it's, well, I haven't, so let's not talk about that. But what they're really for, I guess, is like, if someone's like spamming Dragon Breath, you could maybe take the FP with these. I don't actually use these much. But yeah, you could, I don't know if Sleep would combo into this. I suspect it's too slow. I just didn't have anything I really wanted with my my cracked pots. So I went for sleep pots. You can actually apparently sleep NPCs with these, so if you're getting ganked by NPCs, you could try that. I tried it, it didn't work for me. They didn't, Melina didn't sleep, but whatever. Yeah. So that's, oh yeah, uplifting. So anytime you climb a ladder or ride an elevator or go through a door where you think they might be, you should be using one of these. The key thing to remember with these is that you need to do this first because this damages you and pops your bubble. So you do that first and then you put this on. And then you climb the ladder or ride the elevator or go through the doorway. And of course, remember you can always go into your inventory and get your FP back for doing this stuff. You don't need to waste FP on this kind of thing. Just use your one FP flask when you're actually in battle. I'm trying to think. I have Iron Jar here as well. The theory behind that is that there might be a situation where I'm like on an elevator or something and want to Iron Jar Moog someone. I've never actually done it, but it's there, and I just didn't need any more upliftings, so I thought, why not just have it? I can try it one day. Alright, so that's weapons, that's consumables. I've covered the Ashes of War I use, the spells. Let's talk tallies. So we did the main swap that I actually do, which is to bleed resistance. I showed you earlier about the cockroaching swaps. If you're going across, this is for madness, this is for death blight, this is for rotten poison. The only time I ever really use this is in the Lake of Rot. This is for when I'm shooting jar cannon, it gives it more damage. This is for if I have time and can be bothered swapping. I'm chasing someone with Nagis. I can put that in. Yeah, shard, you know what that does. Rotten wing sword, you can put that in for the Nagis. So like, say I'm going across the Lake of Rot, I might do this. And I'd leave that, but I might also put this in, and then I'd swap my boluses to rot boluses, and I would eat one of these, and that would be enough. But because I'm probably chasing someone, I don't really have time to fuck around doing 10 things, but I could, if there was time, also put that on, and then I've got tons of immunity. So if we have a look at my immunity right now, it's 711, that's quite good. And you can do the same thing for madness. And I already talked about bleed, so if you just want to stack up resistances really high, you're never going to have time to do this in someone's face. The most you'll usually end up doing, if we go back to normal, would be you would swap Crimson Amber to this, and then eat this, get your bolus good to go. Say it's madness actually, you would swap to this, eat the thing, you'd equip your bolus and eat that if you have time, and then you go and fight the guy with Vikes. You run from the guy with the Vikes until you can do that. But yeah, just the tally and the body buff plus the right bolus is enough to then go and start taking care of business. Spiral Horn is only if you, yeah, that's a nice to have of this time. So yeah, that's consumables, that's spells, that's weapons. My physic has hard tear and bubble tear in it. If you're going to do 200, I suggest you do the same. It's high damage. As I haven't talked about all my tallies, but you can kind of figure them out. Like, say I'm cockroaching with Blessed Dew, and I've run out of heals, and I've thrown down warming stones to heal myself. I might put in Ritual Shield somewhere here, like, just so that I can get a little bit more out of my last health bar by, like, protecting myself from that one hit. You can also use upliftings for that. Yeah. But at that point, you're probably low on FP as well. Good thing about Ritual Shield is it doesn't cost FP. Stats be the last thing that I think I'll talk about. I have 60 Vigor, I've got 20 Mind, that's for the Mode Spear, and because I'm constantly spamming my Asher War and my anti-lock stuff. 54 Strength, 2-handed Softcat, 20 Dex, weapon requirements for Nuggies and the bows, 16 Int requirement for Unseen Form. It's a prisoner starter because I wanted that 6 in Faith, which is the lowest Faith you can have, and all of the rest up to 200 are in Arc. 50 Endurance is how much I need for all of this gear. And yeah, that's the build. Can't really think about anything else to say about it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.